going down to the beaches, seeing how everybody else is talking to customers and engaging people has gotten my head just thinking about the opportunities for our future.
Yeah, it is a bumper crop of experiential here.
Totally.
Sure. All right, here we are in beautiful Cannes with Josh Feldman from NBCU and Natalie Schwartz from Canva. Great to see you both. We're here at the Festival of Creativity. Let's talk first about how brands are challenged to break through. It's a trope, right? It's a crowded media environment. It's never been more true. It's just more consumption across a more fragmented kind of landscape. How are you driving your teams to approach creativity in a non-traditional, innovative way? What does that look like? Maybe Josh, if you take that first.
Sure. So, at NBCU, we're really trying to bring brands together with our IP and our talent in a multitude of different ways. So that comes in all shapes and sizes, and it can be extremely large, it could be smaller, it's all different ways that we can do it. So one thing that always stands out to me, because it was one of my personal favorite passion projects of the past year, is what we were able to accomplish, for example, with BravoCon. And that really broke through the clutter, because here you're taking this collection of really beloved IP, but you're bringing brands along for the ride in a multitude of different ways, right? Whether that's through on-site experiential experiences at the con itself, whether that's through social postings that we're doing, whether that's through integrations into the programming, but it's getting those brands as close to those shows as possible in unique and specific ways, right? So having Lay's create, specific recipes using their potato chips, but are made by different Real Housewives and so on. So
Bravo Celebrities.
Bravo Lebs, exactly.
Yes.
You know them well. So that's something that really is big and large and taps into something really iconic. But then something, for example, that Natalie and I were just talking about, before we walked in here, is something we call the Creator Accelerator, which is a very, very different type of program. That's where we went out and hired 11 different content creators in the space to come and create content for our streaming platform, Peacock, so that we can get that next generation of content creators, but then be able to double that up and have our advertising partners come along for the ride and have this sort of grouping of content creators that know everything about our company intimately because they're working so closely with us on a daily basis, and be able to represent them from an influencer and content creator perspective. So there's a lot of different ways that we can break through the clutter and do things.
Yeah, that is a non-traditional approach. Natalie, how would you speak about that question of?
Yeah, interesting. I think for me, what I've been really pushing my teams towards and what we're excited about this year, one is definitely integrations. It's something that we've gotten in on, and I think that's just an amazing way for a brand to both accelerate themselves into pop culture and also to demonstrate how their products work. For us at Canva, we are an amazing tool. We have a lot of possibilities, and showing those really hands-on within a show is an amazing way to get people to start considering us, to think about how they can use Canva in their own lives. And we are working on an integration with Abbott Elementary, demonstrating how Canva can be used in the classroom, which is a huge use case for us. We have an integration with Billions, showing how Canva can be used in the boardroom and in the workplace. So those have been really exciting for us this year, and something that we've just taken a step into in the past year and a half. I think the other thing that's exciting to me is experiential. And you talked about it a bit with BravoCon. And I still think we're in a post-pandemic era where there's a new excitement for meeting people, for interacting in person, that maybe we were all getting a little bit tired of that in 2019. We had too much social interaction. There were too many conferences, there was too much going on, and now it's the opposite. I've been so energized to be at conferences again, something maybe I wouldn't have said 3 years ago, and it's wonderful to do that. So that's something we've been focused on too, is hiring an experiential team, showing up in places like Con, potentially like BravoCon in the future, and really interacting with our customers and thinking about it from a quality interaction over quantity, and really making that one-to-one connection.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. But when you talk about these bespoke kind of creative and campaigns and activations, some people see dollar signs, right? Like, how do you do this in a way that you can scale the creativity, so to speak? Because marketing budgets are kind of the first thing to go when companies start to feel the pain. How do you scale creativity efficiently in an environment like this?
For us, well, Canva is an amazing tool to scale creativity efficiently. It's essentially what we're all about in the workplace. It allows the non-designers to be able to scale their ads, through our templates, and so scaling creativity is really like what Canva's all about, and we're able to do that through a variety of different tools. Some now with AI as well, and I think that just unlocks a whole opportunity. We're being asked to create more and more content as marketers every year, more and more. Like there seems to be an insatiable desire for that, and there are fewer people to work on that, fewer designers to work on that, and so that's really something that Canva has been able to turbocharge so many organizations to scale that content across, whether it's advertising, social posts, et cetera.
Yeah, because there are more platforms than ever before.
Exactly.
Now, and Josh, you touched on this, but building off of the community of interest, the fan base, right? The goal is to get this virtuous circle going so that your audience becomes your brand ambassadors, right?
Yep.
What are the best practices on doing that? I mean, how are there rules of thumb on how to do that, or is it you just have to start with something great that people love and there's no real formula for that?
Yeah, look, I think it depends upon what you're doing, right? If you're tying brands to specific IP, and they want to build community, you're going to do that around the things that do that. Like, for example, we're 1 year out now from the Paris Olympics in 2024, right? And that's a major thing that we're talking about here at Cannes, as a matter of fact.
NBC has the rights across all platforms, including
All platforms.
Peacock.
That is correct. Everywhere that you could find it, we have it straight through 2032, I believe it is. So we have a long run here. So but it's one of these things, similar to what Natalie was just saying, that it brings communities together, right? This is something that we can all agree upon as a country, right? It's not red or blue, it's red, white, and blue, right? We're gonna be Americans and rooting for our country. If you live here in France, you're gonna be rooting for your country. So that truly brings everybody together as a community, and that's gonna be a big part of how we create our messaging for our advertising partners. That's what we're gonna be doing with our marketing campaigns. We're talking specifically to people in all major categories about how they wanna get that community messaging across in a place that they know people will be leaned in and feeling the same way together, which is harder and harder to find these days.
Right. Natalie, that is a challenge, right? To listen to the audience, but also tell them your story, right? I mean,
and I think at Canva, we're always trying to think about how can we empower the audience to be an advocate for us and really put the power in the hands of the audience and creators. An example of a cool partnership we did that really spoke to that, to engaging the community, is with the Webbies. And when the Webbies happen, everybody's trying to get their votes. Everyone wants everybody they know to be voting for them. We created an amazing series of templates that let anyone who was nominated for a Webbie quickly create a whole suite of assets where they could promote themselves across social media. And we saw over 10,000 engagements, downloads of our assets, and posts across all of social media from just the Webbie nominees. Wow. So everyone was really... It allowed them to promote themselves in a way that we just haven't seen before, because not everyone is a designer and not everyone can create something that looks really nice. But this kind of put the power in the hands of the community and allowed each of the creators to engage their own communities.
Yeah, that's a good proof point. Well, so we're at the Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity. I have to ask, what is inspiring you and your teams creatively now? What gets your creative juices flowing?
For me personally, I'm a big music guy. right? So listening to music, being inspired by music, doing something that's completely outside of what I'm working on right now, and just, being able to see other people create something out of scratch is really always inspiring to me. So I would say, listening to music and has always been my biggest inspiration.
For me, in the past day and a half, just been on the ground. I've just been soaking it all in through experiencing other brands' activations, and that's been really exciting for me. Like I said, I'm really excited about the opportunity to connect with people through experiential marketing, and so just going down to the beaches, seeing how everybody else is talking to customers and engaging people has gotten my head. Just thinking about the opportunities for our
future. Yeah, it is a bumper crop of experiential here.
Totally.
Sure. The whole place. What's the, and then related to that, what is the best piece of creative advice that you've ever been given?
I think the best piece of creative advice I've ever been given, less of advice and more of like a mantra, is that even if you don't have creative in your title, you are creative. That was from our former CMO at Airbnb back in the day, and really encouraging everybody in the company to participate in the creative process. Because if your day job doesn't involve creativity, your day job still does involve creativity, even if it's not in your title. So I think having those conversations and pushing ideas forward, sometimes it's an engineer that has a brilliant idea, sometimes it's a marketer, sometimes it's a salesperson. So having those cross-company conversations and yeah.
That's a good point. Josh, any thoughts here?
I would say know your audience, right? You got to know who you're creating for, right? You got to be able to resonate with them. Creativity, there's no right or wrong to it, right? Everybody has different tastes, but if you know who you're trying to reach and you know what's going to really trigger them, then really lean in on that and know your audience as best as possible before you create anything.
Well, when we think about the future of marketing, there's a lot of talk about AI, how that might or might not apply to the business of creativity, to the business of marketing and advertising. Where do you see that headed?
Yeah, I am very pro AI, and at Canva we've been embracing it for several years now. We made an acquisition of a company called Kaleido, which has an amazing AI-powered background remover. So we see really AI as a tool to supercharge creators. There's always going to be a need for human intent. I'm not worried about AI taking people's jobs. I feel like that's a narrative that's been very front and center recently. And I think it's just another amazing tool that lets people spark creativity. I think it's going to push the whole industry forward. And yeah, I'm excited about it.
Josh, are you excited?
I completely agree. I don't think it replaces humans when it comes to the world of creativity. I think in other categories and spaces, there's more to worry about there.
Totally.
But in the world of creativity, AI is a tool that's just going to be able to enhance what we do and utilize it in different ways, right? We did an amazing partnership last year where we created a metaverse gaming experience for The Tonight Show because Jimmy was a gamer and he was really, truly interested in it. And it was able to take this iconic IP, The Tonight Show, that's been around forever, and bring it to a brand new audience in Fortnite and create this experience around it. That was just additive to what he does. It doesn't replace what we're doing. So using AI to just enhance the experience is gonna just continue as we move forward.
And then, kind of the last question, what are the biggest ways that you're evolving your strategies as marketers prepare for the future? That's kind of a nested question, but what are you looking forward in the next 12 months, right? If you're thinking that far ahead.
Yeah, for me, I like
the Olympics. Yeah.
Well, no, but when I think about the future, I spend a lot of time really listening to the younger folks that work at NBCU and beyond NBCU, right? Hearing how they're taking in media, hearing how they're experiencing their brands, what are they interested in, right? That sparks a lot of conversation. Yesterday, I was lucky enough, I'm a graduate of Michigan State University. I hosted 20 students here at Cannes. They came to our space. They're on a class trip through Europe right now, all advertising majors for the most part. And just to be able to sit down and talk to them about how are you taking in media? How are you doing all of these type of things? What are you interested in? I was able to ask them some questions about our talent so I could find out some stuff about people that I was meeting with later that day, literally. Yeah. So, just listening to the next generation is always going to be important because this business is evolving so quickly.
Yes, it's quite a reality check sometimes. Natalie, you have the last word.
Yeah, I also am excited about the future. I think for us at Canva, I'm really excited about the tools that we're continuing to develop in the AI space, and just generally the tools that we're developing to making marketers' lives easier, which is great. It's great to be a customer of your own product, and more and more, since we've launched our brand hub, we're just seeing more and more brands getting on board and finding such efficiency with their teams so that they can scale their content, so that they can connect more with their communities.
And what are the kinds of questions they ask you? I mean, what do they want to know about?
In terms of our product, I think it's really about how can I create more content? That's like the number one thing that people are being asked. So we're able to now scale across platforms using our AI tools, just creating, magically resizing all of your assets, things like that. Yeah, it's exciting.
And do it in a quality controlled way.
Yes, it's all about staying on brand. I think that's obviously the number one priority for all of us marketers, and that's what Canva really enables.